Welcome to the All in All
podcast. And I'm Jammy, aka Cobra, aka Sharky, with my main man here,
Mikey Gator, aka Gator Bait, aka Bring Back Street Sharks.
And today's episode, we're talking about animals, especially since the Shark Week just ended. We'll be talking about Shark Week on Discovery and other things. But to start it off, I'll start with Shark Week. It was pretty good, I thought. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, animals in general are always awesome, but sharks,
Right.
For those who aren't really interested in animals,
Well, right. This is what some people actually, wait
and
every
get into
year for. Yeah, it's Shark Week. I mean, I heard a lot of hate tweets about the whole Shark Week. Being all celebrity,
Yeah, they had
this and
a
that,
lot of
which I
celebrities,
understand. They're trying to get other people on there. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I thought it was pretty good, even with celebrities there. I mean, it caught my eye.
Yeah, I think it was a good mix of being informative and then them doing their little celebrity stunts or whatever they were doing.
Right, and it's funny how we watched even the week before Shark Week last week. They had or they're still having I don't know. I think it just ended also Shark Festival or something like
Shark
that
Fest
on
Nat
Shark
Geo
Fest
or
on Nat Geo, yeah. Which was kind of funny. They're like, oh, they have a week, we got two.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's always cool. Just I didn't even know there was that many sharks. Like, I knew a little bit about them, but
oh, absolutely.
Just to see the interactions.
I didn't know that there was so many sharks out there in general. Like, I've heard of hammerheads, of course, and what is it, white?
Yeah, great whites, bull shark.
But now, there's bull sharks. There's a bunch of other sharks. There's insane tiger sharks, and the list goes on and on, and it's crazy.
The Mako.
And the Mako.
Which is a ride at SeaWorld.
That's right. And the Meg movie coming out. We'll be talking about that later.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So
that'll be good. But to start things off, Shark Week started off pretty good, I thought, with a special with Shaq. It was what it was.
Yeah, I mean,
it was what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting much. It was actually, I thought,
it was a little
informative. Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, it was a good
funny
start.
How, he didn't want to get in the water, this and that.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Rob Riggle makes an appearance, tries to get him in the water. At one point, Riggle falls into the water with a bunch of sharks around him. I'm not sure if that was real, probably not.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know how to explain this. It was
I think it was just to get eyes on the
it was
good start.
But I'm saying itself was just not a sketch. It was kind of a sketch show, but it was scripted, of course, but it was supposed to be informative and such. I love how they had to. He needed of course, Shaq needs this. He needed a tailor to make a swimwear so he can get in the water.
Oh yeah,
because he's too big for any of them. Yeah. And then they need his own custom made cage because he's so big, which is kind of funny.
The Shaq cage.
The Shaq cage.
I thought it was all right. I mean, it did follow the reality, TV a little too closely, where it was joke.
Right.
Scene,
Serious,
joke.
Yeah.
Which was okay.
Expected, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Kevin Hart thing, but
there
was
I think Kevin Hart made an appearance, right?
Yeah, there was a point where I thought was interesting where there was a shark that got into the cage, but they never showed Shaq's face and the shark in the same cage.
Yeah,
so it kind of looked like a stunt. And,
it was kind of
but
some camera work there.
Yeah, but regardless, somebody was in there with a wild shark.
Exactly.
In a cage, so
exactly.
In terms of that, I'll take it.
Exactly. I'll go on to the next one real quick. Ronda Rousey uncaged. It was pretty interesting. I mean, she was there. They showed her with her now husband, UFC fighter, what's his name?
Travis
Brown. And they both go and they learn things about sharks.
Hers was more badass than the Shaq thing.
hers was like she actually swam. They had her learn. They had her swim with like I guess not aggressive sharks, and then kind of like have her graduate to like what was it, tiger sharks or something?
Yeah, like work her way up.
Yeah, work her way up, and they were shocked that she did pretty good. They were saying, this is not her habitat. She's not in a cage, fighting something else. She's actually in a cage,
This is like
not literally
real
fighting.
life.
Yeah, exactly. This is a real fight with like an animal, which didn't happen. She didn't have to throw down, but it was interesting. Like the whole thing, like people have to go through and like before they can even get in the water. The next one I liked the training and all. Correct.
She did I think she did a good job because like the way they filmed that one, they showed her getting like up close and personal, and you could see the sharks getting like more and more aggressive and more interested. Right. And she like stiff arms a couple of them,
right?
Which they tell you to do.
Right, and not try to get aggressive, but kind of like
like instead of like fighting the thing, you just gotta be like, yo, not over here, man. Like
exactly, like keep them swimming that way. Because another thing I didn't know with sharks, they can't stay still. They stay still in one place, they can die.
Yeah.
So they're almost in a constant movement. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, they got to keep moving.
Yeah.
Which is very. I don't know. It's like very interesting to know that there's an animal out there that like if they stop moving,
they can die. That's just crazy.
And we stop all the time.
We stop exactly.
Yeah,
we stop
dogs,
all the time.
Dogs stop all the time.
Anybody.
Any
cats,
type of animal. Yeah. So
that is interesting.
Yeah. So I just thought that was kind of unique.
True. And then like they had another special monster tag. It was called. They had one of my favorite players, NFL players, Aaron Rodgers. Go Pack, go!
Yeah.
Lindsey Vaughn, former Olympian, skier, and of course Gronk. He's a wild man out, but he actually he learned a couple things and he tried to help even though it was hard what he was doing.
They showed a lot of Lindsey Vaughn.
They showed a lot of Lindsey Vaughn.
I mean, she was in a bikini, yes.
Yeah, I don't blame him. But yes.
They
want that ratings.
Right.
They showed a lot of Rodgers, too, I guess. Somewhat.
Well, yeah, a little bit.
Somewhat. At one point, he was badass, too. He kind of was like, shark, go that way. He kind of like pushes the shark to go on its way, which was kind of funny.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to see.
Like, whoa.
I was kind of hoping to see.
This season.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping to see, like, Gronk get a little more like hands-on.
Hands-on.
Because like he's just kind of pulling it up on the side and then like it spazzes out and he loses it.
Right, when they're trying to tag it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of spazzing out.
And I mean, again, Lindsey Vaughn got down in there. She has a shark tattoo.
Right.
That she said was
Rodgers goes down and he tries the I guess the what do you call it? Attacking system where he has to shoot a swimming shark. Like in the position, and it was funny because that's what he does in the NFL. You got to throw it in these tight windows, and he can do that, and that's exactly what he did on the shark in the thing on there.
What I didn't understand with that is they had him do it on like a decoy, like a fake shark.
But they never really. Oh, they didn't have him do it, right?
Well, hold on. They had him do it on the fake shark, and then he gets in the water. And there's that one scene that you're talking about where it gets like right in his face and he pushes it away.
Right.
Why couldn't he just have the gun?
I don't know.
In that situation?
Because I think they were trying to get different species of shark or something, which was crazy. Yeah. I thought the same thing. I'm like, why don't you just do it to those?
Yeah, because then I think a storm came.
A storm came or something like that.
And they were like, all right, we're calling it off. And not to mention, with Lindsey Vaughn and Gronk, they had like 20 crew members on the boat. With Aaron Rodgers, there was like 3 dudes.
Yeah, like, 3. It was like weird. I was
like 3 dudes, like, all right, you're the safety, you're going down with him, and that's
exactly.
And then,
wow.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was...
Unless there was people we didn't see. Yeah, there was just like, the only ones you viewed were like 2 other people.
Yeah.
For Rodgers, and I was just like, whoa, that's not good.
I thought it was also cool to see, like, especially with the Shaq one, I mean, they're acting and all that other stuff, but you could tell there was like a serious fear there.
You could tell with Shaq,
with
absolutely.
All of them,
absolutely, yeah. And some did say, like Roger said, this is scaring the crap out of me. Like this is probably one of the hardest things.
Yeah, it's like they're all glad.
All of them.
Yeah, they're all glad they did it, but it's like,
it was intense. It was intense in the moment.
I mean, that's an experience. Like, I don't even know if I would do that. Like, I don't know. I would have to be I don't know.
Personally,
in a different state of mind. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I do it. Heck yeah, I do it.
If I had all those crew members and all that stuff around me, where I'm like, okay, you're my
absolutely.
backup, you're this, like 3 people are like guiding me.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I would do it.
I wouldn't like it how Rogers had it, where it was like 2 other people.
Yeah, just like him and the other guy.
Like,
which was pretty cool to see. But like I said, seeing these big celebrities and famous people, and you're like, they're just as scared as the rest.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And not to mention, even in the Rousey special, the other guy was like, I didn't expect her to go through all that, and like,
she did a lot.
There's like, they were cool. They were really impressed with a lot of these, these guests. They were impressed. Which brings me up to Guy Fieri's Feeding Frenzy special,
which is great.
Oh my goodness, that was probably the best one. And like, what I write down here, it was he was in over his head. Let me just say that. Just a tad, he was in over his head.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, also the fact, like, a lot of things went wrong, and the fact that, like, his, his oxygen, like, went, it broke, like, tank, and then, like, his tank broke, and then, like, his radio went off, and, like, he was literally, like,
there's a lot
done.
going on.
He was gone. And, like, sharks like circled him, and it was bad. It was crazy, but it was cool because that special also it was in the Bahamas, and he also of course he went and met some of the locals, and they showed him some food that they make. This and that.
Added that
of course,
twist
yeah.
on it, yeah.
But it was funny because he was with his son also, who was down there, and they were having a grand old time. But insane, like the stuff he went through. Like, sharks almost went up and attacked him and stuff like that. It was crazy.
They had, the way that was the same thing. They had a lot of people there. And I just don't understand. Like, I know you want to get the footage and you're teaching Guy Fieri and his son to, like, deep sea dive with these things. But to just throw, like, a shit ton of dead fish in there and, like, the chum.
Well, that was the thing, too.
Get them going. It's
right.
Like,
they fed them. They were shooting food or whatever. That's fine. They're above water. But
then
for
him to
dive in there also, that was insane. Like,
and even
you're asking for trouble.
The instructor was like, "Yo, we got to get out of here. They're getting too aggressive."
Yeah, look, when they saw it, they're like, "Yo, we got to get out of here." Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
he must have went down how many times in the water?
He probably went down like a few more times.
3, something like that, 3 or 4 during like the whole show.
Yeah. Because he had the issue with the.
I give him props though for even doing it.
Yeah, he was badass.
He's not an athlite. He's not.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's a cook.
Yeah.
Not an athlete. He's not anything like that. He's not a huge celebrity or known or a movie star who's might have done in the past. He was just a cook.
Yeah, and you went down there and you saw like I liked it because it was like organic.
Right.
Issues that he ran into.
Right. Like, exactly. He's like, I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah, and this the guy was telling him that his tank went out, and he's like, "Yo, my tank's loose," and then like they couldn't get him on the radio.
And they lost him.
Yeah, it was obviously fake, but they show him like floating.
Yeah, that was
like he's dead.
I mean, I don't know. His shit was his tank was low, so you don't even know. Like he's like, dude, I was just out. It could have been true. It could have been real. Could have not.
But no, he said
it too. Like. What did he say? He just thought of food. He was just out of it.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I thought of baseball. I thought of pizza or something.
Yeah, he was just out of it. I was like...
Because when they're getting that aggressive, I mean, obviously they're professionals and experts, but I mean, to throw all that stuff in there, and then you don't even end up getting, like, the specific
that was part
shark
of it. That was different. When they were circling, he was okay. But later on, like, the last part of the show, or the special, that's when he lost. Imagine he lost that when them all around... in blood and stuff, that would have been terrible.
Yeah, and because when you go down that far, it's almost like you're in like a white room where like there's no depth perception there.
Right, and
you're
especially
like floating in space.
Right,
almost,
when you had nothing
like
working. Right, you had nothing working. Of course, you're just going with the flow.
Yeah,
you're just going with the flow.
Yeah, it was pretty trippy. That one was like the most real, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that was the most realistic one.
But shout out to Guy Fieri.
That one, yeah, exactly. I give you props, bro. But that one and also the next one, which was the last of the week, which we saw yesterday, Sunday, was the Naked and Afraid of Sharks special, which was a 2-hour special, I guess it was kind of like an XL or All Star kind of episode where it had like people from I guess prior episodes, and they're
that completed it.
Yeah, I think they were in the Bahamas too. No, where were they?
I'm
I don't
not
remember.
Sure. I don't remember.
But yeah, but they're in a place that was like shark infested and insane, and like throughout the episode, they're basically just trying to get fish because they're like almost like basically on this island. There's like no food on the island, and like they're basically trying to get crabs or anything or fish. And it was funny because like sharks are like all over the place, and they're trying to get fish, and like the fish, are being eaten by sharks, and they got nothing, and so like they had to like try like different places around the island, like where there might not be many sharks, where they're possible. Of course, they don't have food and water to begin with, so them doing like a 15-mile hike takes so long, exhaust them, and then them trying to go out and fish in like 100-degree weather, and then
rough.
trying to harpoon fish.
Yeah.
But,
because with the whole shark thing, like even from Naked and Afraid, it's a great show. But I learned there's like so many species of shark out there.
Oh yeah.
Like in the Naked and Afraid, there's like the reef sharks. Through a bunch.
There was hammerhead. They encountered reef shark, tiger.
Well, with the hammerhead, I don't know if I read this or I saw it on one of the shows on Shark Week, but the hammerhead has a cousin that looks just like it called the bonnethead.
Oh, the bonnethead.
Yeah, which is like.
Do you think it was a bonnethead or was it a tiger?
Huh?
That he saw. I think it was a tiger, right?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying in general.
Oh, okay. But that's insane.
That the hammerhead has a cousin called the bonnethead, and it looks just like it. And on Naked and Afraid, they encountered a hammerhead, and every time they went out, like, I mean, the footage was really close. I mean, yeah, it's TV, all that stuff, but I mean, it did.
It like almost nudged him. The guy was like, "I'm out."
Yeah,
like ran out the water, and it was only like not even 4 feet of water.
Yeah, well, that's where
is insane.
Well, that's where the reef sharks come in. I think they were saying because it's like shallower.
So. Yeah.
So, but I mean, in all these things, even the Naked and Afraid one, I mean, that's their only food source, and they're going out there, with spears and whatnot.
Yeah, one night they were able to get crabs, and then a couple nights they couldn't get any fish because the sharks were eating them all.
Yeah,
they couldn't find any, so they had to go elsewhere to get fish, and they were able to get. The one guy had a field day and he caught like 7 fish or something.
Yeah.
He came back with a bunch.
But
it was insane.
Shark Week's awesome.
Oh,
I mean,
not to mention they found some fishing line and a hook, and the guy found like a little fish, like minced in two or whatever on the side, and he used that as bait. And a shark literally came up and took the fish and went with it.
And dipped.
And I dipped. It was like, for real?
Yeah.
I was like, for real? You gonna take my fish? You gonna take my bait?
Some of these, I mean,
I was like, wow.
With these shark things, especially obviously this week, on Instagram, all social media platforms, like I've seen some crazy shark videos where like he has his hand in the water and like split second he lifts it up and it's like a chomp.
That's insane.
Like it's just close encounters like that. I mean, people go nuts.
That's insane.
And I mean, the Shark Week thing is genius. Now, this year it got a little too like popular or mainstream.
Commercial. Or mainstream, yeah.
But
or poppy. Yeah.
But I mean, I think it was all right. I mean, you said you saw a lot of like tweets and hateful stuff.
I didn't think it was that bad. Of course, everybody was like, "Oh, you think of Shark Week, you think of sharks, not Shaq." But I was like, I understand that. I mean, some people are like okay with it. Some people are like, "Oh, there's too many people out there, celebrities, blah blah." But as long as they're trying to teach, you know what I mean, and put the word out there about sharks, I don't mind.
I'm just very confused. Like now, this goes into like a whole animal thing, but I'm just like very confused on, like, okay, so everybody knows that like obviously people kill sharks and sell their fins, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious as to the relationship with like these poachers and the fishermen and these experts. That like you're telling me these experts don't have like a friend that's like a poacher or a hunter and is like, yo. this is Shark Alley or whatever they called it, where there's like zillions of sharks, and they try to tag them.
Absolutely.
And I mean, speaking of,
they have to know other people,
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's very weird to me how that like, if I'm a shark hunter and I know you're a shark expert that's tagging all these sharks,
right?
And we're best buddies. You're telling me you're not giving me a couple hints as to like where they're at, so that I could kill them and sell the fins for money.
True.
Or the meat or whatever they do.
True.
But speaking of the tagging, this is one thing I always talk about it when they do it. We've seen like 4 different types of tagging with the sharks. And I still, to this day, I think there's an easier way, in general, to just tag animals. I don't have the answer, but there's got to be an easier way than shooting it with a harpoon and then it swimming around with literally like a necklace on its fin.
Yeah, or like capturing them and then open them in, their skin until they can pop it in
like
there.
Sliding a chip in there or something.
Because they were saying, they're probably one of the roughest animals out there. You can tell by seeing them swim around. They're all bruised up, cut up, which I understand because they're constantly moving and this and that's happening in the water. But still, I don't know. Like, I know it might not affect them, but still, it's got to be better, easier ways. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's just like, if you could shoot it with a harpoon gun and get a little tag necklace thing on it, why can't you just shoot it with a chip? So get like
too.
Instead of having like a tranquilizer or
I think
harpoon.
it's also the fact that, like, it might not stay in. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be on there, and then, like, 2 seconds later, boop. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't have that knowledge. But
exactly.
After years and years of all this expertise and research, there's got to be an easier way.
Oh, right. No, I agree. It has to be.
Because I know tagging is this and that, and like, it's easier to tag or like see which shark you tagged like a week later.
Right.
But that's what the chip's for, so you can do it on the computer.
I mean, they've been doing it for a while. They should be able to find it, a different way. But I do think it's very interesting. I mean, we saw some other shows too. Like, we found out like how they hunt in packs.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah,
that was great.
Show.
And like when they do it at night, and then like of course with their tags and stuff, they were able to find out like when they do it, who was with them, And then they also had video footage, which was kind of cool. They had like a bunch of GoPros on like
they set up in like a semicircle
thing, which was kind of cool.
It was got like a 360 angle of like every shot that they were able to like maneuver
right on the computer, so they can see every angle, every inch, which was pretty cool. I thought that was tight.
And another thing which we both found interesting was like the whole moon thing.
Oh right, when the moon's on them, they actually use that to their advantage because I know they don't have the best, eyesight?
The best eyesight. So, like, when, I don't know, whatever particular episode this was, they had a full moon, I think it was.
Yeah, I think this was actually on Nat Geo.
Oh, the 700 sharks or something like that?
Yeah, something like that,
Yeah. And whatever they were doing, they were studying them, and they learned that the whole moon thing, that there's a huge, frenzy of sharks, and they actually sort of like pair up and do like hunting buddies in a way.
Right.
And I just thought that like you said, they follow the light.
Yeah.
The moon is the reflective thing where they can see underwater.
Correct.
And that's how they go about attacking and hunting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And then they figured out like with the moon, like how they have babies or they're I guess how they have not babies, but like
breeding cycle.
Cycle, yes, breeding cycle. Thank you.
Just the whole thing was cool. I mean, it was
very informative. I thought, it was cool, like how they did it and stuff.
Yeah, like I learned a lot about sharks, and like it's one of those things where it's like I don't know, like maybe one of these days on a bucket list, like get a bunch of experts and swim with a shark.
I might do a cage one, but these people like let me just swim with
If it's a cage, I'll do it for sure.
Here. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll try it.
Yeah.
But
if it's in a cage, I'll do it.
Yeah. These people are like, like free balling with other other sharks. They're like, they're cool. It's cool.
I think I would.
I got my stick.
Yeah, I think I would do what Ronda Rousey did, where she's like in the cage and she's
Did she have a stick?
Huh?
No, or that was later. Somebody had a stick.
Oh,
or like, what was that, Lindsey Vonn?
Yeah, there was they gave her like a stick to like just keep your distance from it, not to like poke it,
but like have it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a security rope.
What were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say like I would be like Rhonda. I feel like where I'd be in the cage and then I'd get comfortable and I'd be like, screw it, I want to swim with them. Like, get me out of this
right.
cage.
When they had her like in the cage at first, and then they had her out, and she was like swimming with them.
Yeah.
I would have to probably do the same, where like I would have to get I would have to get used to it.
Yeah.
If not, I'd be like, all right, I'll just stay with the cage or whatever.
Yeah, all these things, like, I wish I wasn't, like, I don't know, I'm not afraid of water, but I wish I was more confident, like, going out into the middle of the ocean on a boat and just be like, oh, we got to tag these turtles today, or whatever, sharks, and just go down, do it real quick. I mean, that would be sick to do.
Oh, but, absolutely.
You know.
That would be definitely something to take off the bucket.
Yeah, for sure.
I can say, yeah. Oh, yeah, last year I swam with sharks,
Yeah, it's just a cool experience.
You can say that.
I mean, I wouldn't, like, jump and, like, skydive.
No,
but
absolutely.
I'd rather swim with sharks than skydive. Which might sound crazy to some people, but...
After playing Fortnite, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah,
right. I do it anyway in there.
Landed on risky reels.
Exactly. Not in the water, Mike.
Yeah.
I'll float.
Yeah. Check our YouTube channel if you want to understand that private joke.
But yeah. But yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed Shark Week.
They said it was the 30th anniversary.
Yep, that's right. It was the 30th anniversary. Well, I remember when it first started. Jeez.
Well, yeah. But just for them to have Shark Week, I think they need to have more stuff like that. Like, me personally, I would like that, a Reptile Week, maybe a Dog Week.
Oh, that'd be awesome, yeah.
Cat Week. I mean, I think they have done more stuff like that in the past. But I'm not too sure because, like, I mean, they focus it all on Shark Week. I think they've got people...
Yeah, that's their big...
Yeah, they've got people attracted to the whole Shark Week thing.
Right.
Now I think they should move in another avenue, and instead of just doing like, oh, Super Bowl's on, let's do Puppy Bowls. Like,
correct.
Do it the whole year.
You're right.
And just do like, oh, this month's about this month's about that. You know? But, speaking of Shark Week.
Yes, there's a huge movie coming out soon.
Which I cannot wait for.
With a huge character called The Meg.
We're not talking about Family Guy.
No, not Meg. Shut up, Meg.
Meg, so Meg is short for Megalodon.
Yeah.
If you don't know what Megalodon is, it's supposed to be the biggest and grandest shark, fish, whatever you want to call it. And
yeah, and they got a pretty good crew. I mean, pretty good cast too. Jason Statham.
Which I'm glad to see him in it because it's a different movie for him.
Yep, Ruby Rose.
You know.
Lee Bingbing. Rainn Wilson. Jessica McNamee. Cliff Curtis. And Robert Taylor, to say a few here.
Yeah, Rainn Wilson, he's funny as hell in the trailer.
Yeah, he's funny.
But yeah, I think it'll be a good movie. I mean, I heard a couple of good things about it. That, like, it's not too serious, but
it knows what it is.
Yeah, it makes its jokes, but it also keeps that factor of like, dude, next time you go in the ocean, there might be a fucking megalodon.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people will be like, no thanks. Yeah. So it's a 75-foot long prehistoric shark.
There you go.
The megalodon.
75 feet.
This is from IMDb.
There you go.
It's a massive creature. A massive creature attacks a deep sea submersible, leaving it disabled and trapping the crew at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. With time running out, rescue diver Jonas Taylor must save the crew and the ocean itself from an unmanageable threat.
So basically, there's a big ass shark, and people get stuck.
Yeah.
I'm not too big on the whole IMAX 3D thing, but this is definitely a movie that I think would be worth the extra bang for your buck.
Yeah, because like watching 3D or in a
I mean,
IMAX
even from the
might have to go
TV.
see IMAX.
yeah, even from the TV. I mean, the shark is huge.
Oh yeah.
It's like it could swallow the whole beach.
Yeah,
it looks like
the trailer is insane.
Yeah,
like,
and it's
you just see it coming out and like the clear.
And this is
and the clear. The little girls right there. It's like whoa.
Not a movie where Jason Statham's just going to be a badass and beat the crap out of 14 guys. He's got a 75-foot shark.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be smart about that.
Yeah, which
This is not gonna be like, what's the one with he's the
transporter.
Transporter, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Wild Card or anything like that, or Despicable. Well, not Despicable. Hey, what was it? The one with Stallone. I almost forgot.
No idea what
you're talking about. They have sequels.
Rambo?
Not Rambo. He was in it.
No idea.
With the hold on. But yeah.
So it's Jason Statham versus a shark. He's probably not going to be the focus of the movie, obviously, but I think there was one trailer that they teased where like he comes pretty close where it chomps and like just misses him. So I don't know. It'll definitely make your blood rise, give you that anxiety and the excitement of what it is. And I don't know. I'm very intrigued and I'm excited for this movie.
Expendables.
There you go.
Now he's been in many movies. Crank, The Bank Job, Snatch.
Yeah.
He's a Transporter, War, The Death Race, of course, Save, Barker, The Mechanic.
All right, we don't need to do this, man.
Furious. Just to name a few. But yeah, it's a different challenge. It's not going to be like that. Yes, it's going to be totally different.
Definitely a different challenge for him. So having said that, at SeaWorld, there's that one ride, Mako, which I rode a few years ago. And I learned now that half the reason it's like that is because it's fast. And a Mako shark is like one of the fastest.
Super fast, yeah.
Could go like 60 miles an hour or something like that.
Wow.
Underwater. I mean, that's insane.
That's insane.
And
it's incredible.
It's not huge, it's not small, but it's like the perfect size where it's like vicious and aggressive, which is crazy.
Oh, that is.
But so Shark Week was pretty good. I'm always going to be into it. I thought it was really nice.
But talk about Mako and SeaWorld. I mean, don't they have sharks? I haven't been in SeaWorld in so long.
I haven't been there in a while.
I mean,
I went there
have to make a trip.
4 or 5 years ago, I think was the last time I was over there.
Shoot, yeah, same here. Maybe 3? 3 or so? 3, 4?
Yeah. Which it gets a bad rap, but I mean, I talked to some people who used to work there, and they always said that, like, it's way different when you work there versus, like, the articles you read and
oh, absolutely.
Whatever.
You're right. You see it, in person and all. So, you have your own.
Well, because that documentary Blackfish tried to like kill it.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw that. Basically, the moral is like they had a whale that it had like an aggressive gene in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one they were like sort of breeding and taking the young from.
Mm-hmm.
So people were complaining because they're like, yo, you have an aggressive gene in there and you keep breeding it and you keep taking this fish or this whale, and then it attacks you and kills somebody, and then like people are like, you should have known, but dude, you don't know, like, you know what I mean? That could have happened with anything and anybody.
True.
So basically, people are upset because they keep using this one line of genetics, and unfortunately, it's had its aggressive history, and one person I think lost their life.
Yeah, I think
from it.
Died, right?
So. But again, you don't know. Like, dude, the whale could have been playing. I mean, there's just so many things. But SeaWorld, any place, I support any place that like tries to take care of animals and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it goes back to the question before of like zoos, aquariums, any type of animal enclosure. Obviously, it's not good. You don't want to put something in a cage,
right?
And whatever. But in a weird way, if it preserves the species and the people that are taking care of it are taking care of it, and the facilities are clean and they're feeding it, and it's like, I mean, it's better than them being out in the wild and getting attacked by whatever.
True.
I mean, we walk around over here and we see lizards and anoles, and some of them have like arms missing.
True.
And that's from them like just fighting within their own
wild.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's very like
right. There's going to be their cons and pros for animals, being in the wild / being in captivity. You can say,
yeah.
And like obviously, we want them, to be in good condition. Being worked on, being cared for well. Obviously.
Well, I think the problem is that there's way too many people that don't care for them.
Well, absolutely.
Like they're just doing their job, and I mean, shit. When I got you came with me to get my dog.
Right.
I mean, we were walking up and down the shelter, and there was this one lady that was just like, she just aggressive and was like, "Get back in the cage! Shut up! Shut up!" And it's just like, these are like stray dogs, theoretically speaking, that you're just. And a lot of these places, if they don't sell them within a month, like they just put them to sleep.
They just get rid of them.
Yeah, so if we could eliminate more places like that, and they at least have them where people are caring for them,
right,
and not treating them like shit.
Right.
I rather have that than have them like, oh, we can't find a home for it, let's kill it and euthanize it.
No, yeah, that's not. Yeah, euthanize it. Yeah, it's messed up. I mean, it's like it's sad to see, but of course, I know you want animals to be treated right, wherever they're at, especially in dog pounds and stuff.
Yeah,
so go out there and adopt an animal today.
Yeah, right. Now, again, the commercials with like showing a dog with one eye and like these things on TV, like that's a little too much for me. But like,
right,
there's, I mean, if you're in a good position, you're rich and famous, and you have a couple extra bucks.
You go ahead,
save an animal's life. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, it's a little strong in the commercial, but I understand what they're doing, but it's like,
yeah, just in general with animals and whatever. I mean,
right,
like we could keep it simple with dogs and cats.
Right,
like anybody that owns a dog or a cat,
right,
I think would tell you that it was a good investment and it changed their lives.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Like I've had cats, and this is my first dog.
They become family members. More than just friends.
Yeah, and you like cats a lot. Like why?
Yeah, I love cats. I mean, I like
they're funny.
They're funny. They're very independent. They make some crazy videos on YouTube. But yeah, weird, but I don't know.
Why do you like cats?
Animals in general, but like cats, they're just, I don't know, they're just silly. They're like I said, they're independent. They're not, they're not dumb. They know what they're doing most of the time.
They're mischievous.
They're mischievous. They like, they like to, they like to do funny stuff. And it's crazy. It's just funny. Like
you love cats, man.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I love animals in general, but just cats is just, I don't know.
Well, it's also like that weird thing. Like a lot of times, if we're out and about, sometimes it's a stray cat. Like, hey, dude, it comes up to you.
Yeah.
If we're out and about, and there's like a lizard.
It happened at work a few times. I've had friendly ones, of course. There's a lot of cats at Universal. Yeah. Spoiler alert. But they take care of a lot of mice and stuff. Same with Disney. But yeah, some of them are nice, some of them are not. I know a lot of people feed them. Like if I could, I do too. I mean, I do it sometimes. I also do. But some are nice. There was one cat. It was like one day, it was just letting me pet it. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And it just became friends, and it was like, it was insane.
Yeah, the old neighborhood you used to live in, right? There was
and also, the orange cat. He was coming around, meow, meow.
I just follow you around.
Yeah. And I'm like, I pet it, and like, gotta go. I'm like, okay, meow, meow. And it like went on its merry way after I like pet it.
I mean, cats and dogs, obviously humans know that. But, I mean, even, we were walking around the lake the other day, and those turtles.
Yeah.
I mean, they came right up.
Oh, yeah, not to mention, those turtles. Well, because it was funny, because I think we went and walked the day before, and we saw one, like, on a, what was it? On a, like a sewage, not sewage, but like
the
a
filter
water,
thing.
Water filter, yeah. And it kind of like, it saw us. I kind of like walked close. Not too close to it, of course, because it was like, maybe like a couple feet away. And it was like, bloop, and we ran back in the water. But these turtles like, hey. I'm like, oh, look at that. And then, like, they came swimming over. I just see their heads pop up. And them, paddling over. I'm like, oh, there's a couple of turtles.
Yeah.
And then there's another turtle, like, the third one. It was gigantic. I don't know what it was. It was like,
Your
a damn snake. I was like, holy.
Your reaction was priceless.
Yeah.
So there was this. Okay, so there's like 2 regular turtles, right? And then there's this like one thing, and it's like poking its head out. And the first reaction, you were like, "What the hell is that? A snake?" And you like backed up for a snake.
I was like, "Whoa!" Because I was looking at the other turtle and see that one come. I'm like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, and it poked its head out, and it has sort of like that hog nose thing.
Yeah.
And we learned later it was a huge white turtle with like a hog nose,
right?
Like a very very pink,
like
snout.
Yeah, sharp, not sharp, but like pointy nose.
And we like learned. I took a video of it. I put it on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
And I learned later that it's just it's a spiny soft shell turtle.
Soft shell, yeah.
And I thought it was a hog nose, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a soft shell turtle, and it was huge.
It was incredible.
And the fact that it was like swimming with the other 2 little turtles that were like green and yellow.
Yeah.
And they all sort of like inch by inch.
And it was funny because like the other 2 were like kind of like on his back, like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, "Hey, give me a push." And closer. Yeah. But they just had their heads out. They were like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" Kind of like if they were Ninja Turtles, like one of my favorite shows. They're like, "What's up, man? Michelangelo. This is Leonardo. What's up, dude?"
Yeah, they came
what's
right
up. What's up, Jamie? They came right up. Like, I guess people feed them or whatever, and they're used to people. And I was just like, wow. Especially because the other one's huge.
Well, like I said, the big one, the white soft shell one, I've never seen that thing in my life.
No, I've seen big turtles. I saved one back in New York. I almost ran one over, and I like kind of swerved to the side, and I came up and I picked it up and I put it to the side, and I went on my way. There was also another time years ago when I first moved here to Florida, to the Orlando area. And I guess, well, you see it a lot. A lot, but you'll see turtles from time to time, especially in like lakes or big watered areas or big ponded areas. And there was a big turtle, huge turtle. I was with another friend of mine. I'm like, "Oh, we gotta pick this up, put it away." I'm like, "All right." So she actually picked it up and she put it, and we put it towards like this, I guess, a pond that was back there. And I was like, wow. So he's like, "Yeah, we did our good deed for the day."
I remember, like, this is when I was super young. There was, like, a creek behind the neighborhood, and me and my sister found this turtle. And, of course, she's older than me, so I was like, "Yo, you go in the house with the turtle. You ask Mommy if we could keep it." And I kid you not, I was standing outside on my driveway, and I hear my mom scream at the top of her lungs, going, "No, we're not keeping it." Yada, yada, yada. Of course. But... So she brought the turtle back out, and I think we put it back in the creek or something, or maybe we might have even given it to like one of our friends or neighbors over there. But
it was a good size.
Yeah, it was and I think it was a snapping turtle too.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So
did you handle it, or?
I picked it up, but my sister was the one who like carried it into the house.
She kind of.
Yeah. Okay. But I'm very intrigued by animals. I mean, I think there's all types of weird, cool stuff. Right. Everybody says dinosaurs are dead, but I mean, extinct. Look around.
Oh, yeah, especially with these lizards, and that's another thing. I know you have a nice obsession with reptiles.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about that.
Yeah. So basically, I don't know where it comes from.
But yeah, go back to what you were saying. But with dinosaurs, I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, like, with dinosaurs. I mean, we saw there's something called like the thing I showed you. Forgot the goddamn name. It's like sailbill stork or something. That big blue bird that was like 8 feet tall and it looked like a human thing. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many animals out there that are unique. The colors you see, the types of stuff. I mean, there's plants that are like, fly traps.
Venus flytraps.
Yeah,
I mean, eat.
there's so many different types of living things that I think it's almost inhumane to like ignore it, you know?
They're almost prehistoric in their own right.
Yeah. So, I mean, for people to just ignore the fact that there are other living beings on this planet, like, I mean, that's whatever, but yeah, so with the whole dinosaur thing, so I don't know where it comes from, but like, I have a crazy obsession with like alligators, crocodiles, just reptiles in general. And obviously coming to Florida, being from New York.
And that's your nickname?
Well, yeah. So, PlayStation name, that's
Mac 10 Gator.
My whole alias, Mac 10 Gator. It's not that complicated. Just my initials, my favorite number, and my quote unquote spirit animal, I guess you could say. But I was just very obsessed with alligator. I mean, we used to come down to my grandparents in Florida, and when I was super young, we saw a couple of them outside, and they are dinosaurs, man. They're that big. They move like that. I mean, for me personally, reptiles is just, I don't know, it's sort of been like the foundation of like everything I do. And like being from New York, you tell your parents you're into reptiles, they think you're nuts. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, because also the fact, I know myself, we do have summer and stuff, but we also have winter and all, and that's hard for, these animals to live in.
Well, yeah, that doesn't. I mean, you can't really keep a reptile when it's like a blizzard outside.
Exactly.
I mean,
it's hard. You would have to have a lot of things and stuff. It's just not as easy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, on this whole trip with this reptile, moving down to Florida, I've discovered so many more things. I mean, it started with alligators, crocodiles, and Ninja Turtles, all that good stuff. And it just blew up. Like there's things like skinks, there's like amphibians like axolotls, salamanders.
If you can name the ones that you're thinking of maybe owning one day.
Well, yeah.
And and tell people if they want to also own these animals, which are the easiest, and so on and so forth.
Well, yeah. So by the end of the year, I will own a reptile. And we've had many conversations about which kind and what they do. Just a couple examples. There's an animal, for instance, a reptile that eats dog and cat food. It's called a blue-tongued skink, right? And there's different types of skinks, but people go, oh, well, I don't have the budget to do this. I can't do that.
How easy is that, especially if you own a dog?
I mean,
you know what I mean?
If you own a dog or a cat already, right,
yeah.
and you need some extra companionship, I mean, blue-tongued skink.
You're already buying food for your dog, at least,
Yeah. And from what I've seen and read, obviously we won't know until we purchase one or whatever, but they could survive in colder weathers. I mean, you heard a couple of things I was looking at. They could survive in 60-degree weather, which is nice if you live in New York or whatever. And then, I mean, there's also reptiles that are just strictly vegetarian.
Right.
So if you don't want to feed them insects or bugs or worms all the time, they have something like a Euromastix where you can just feed it, bird seed.
You don't have to give it water. How crazy is that?
Yeah, and
you don't need to put water on them. They don't need water.
If you have a Euromastix, you could at me, you could do whatever. But there's certain things that you just have to mimic what they are in nature, right? So Euromastix lives in the desert.
Right.
Egypt, Israel, all that stuff.
Right.
They see 2 inches of rainfall their whole entire lives.
Right.
And then people go, oh, well, they need water, this and that. It's like, no, they don't.
They don't need to soak in water.
Yeah, you don't need to soak Euromastix in water.
It makes sense. Absolutely. It makes sense because where they're from, they're not used to,
exactly
the same things, that we are. Especially living in the desert and all that. It's pretty hot out there. They're used to it and they're okay in it.
Yeah, there's plenty of things out there, animals, whatever.
To change that will probably, hurt them.
Yeah. And if you don't know these things, or you want to own a dog or a cat or a reptile, just do your research.
Do your research. Exactly. Do your research, read up on it. Another thing, too, that we've learned, especially, for example, we just said with the Euromastix, if you have an answer, try to find out more, because one person may say one thing, another person might say another, and, try to find out which is the right answer. But usually also, like you said, if anything, use your best judgment.
Some things you'll just have to figure out yourself.
Sense, exactly. Yourself, too. It's what makes sense, with these animals, their backgrounds and stuff. It's kind of put 2 and 2 together, it just, if it makes sense to you, it's...
I try to make an example of it, but it's I can't really think of one. But if there's an animal that you're looking to own, or you want to be a pet owner, whether it's fish, real quick, over my life, I've owned fish. I owned a chinchilla once, which that was a crazy story, but
wow.
couple cats, 3 cats. I have a
There you
dog
go.
now. By the end of the year, there'll be a reptile in the house. So, just with anything you're gonna do, I mean, you see, we bought books. I mean, just do your own research. And if you're really up and down on it, read all the negative stuff, read all the positive stuff, and then form your own opinion.
True.
And there is something out there for you. Don't think because you live in New York and or where it snows a lot that you can't own a reptile or whatever.
You could just gotta know how to take care of it. And you'll be all right.
You could create the habitat and the environment in your own home.
True.
You'll have to dedicate part of your life.
You know, it might take a lot of power. And you can probably take care of any animal, really.
Yeah.
In my case, I've never done that. I've taken care of a fish, maybe 2 fish, and that was it. And
just a couple
that was
fish.
It for me. Yeah, it was Japanese fighting fish. I had to have them separated because they probably would have killed each other.
Damn.
That's what I heard. It's not a joke.
I could just imagine you taking care of 2 fish.
It was funny because he lasted almost 3-4 years. And one time I thought he was dead. He was swimming on its side. And I was like, no! I think his name was Skittles.
Skittles?
It had crazy. It had a crazy purple blue color, and it was crazy. I was like, no, Skittles. Keep swimming, keep swimming. It was
fight.
And he did fight all right. He lived for another year. So I was like, heck yeah. So.
Yeah, you never.
It was interesting.
Yeah. So just on the. I don't know.
Young Jimmy with his fish.
I wish I want to see that.
Yeah, I know.
But you were more into for instance, you were good with the snake.
But it was cool. Oh yeah. But I was gonna say back to the fish. I had it right near. It was right near the TV, and in this case thing. So it was cool. I could watch TV and also see him at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Fish are very. What's the word?
Independent.
No, not independent. They're
They
very
swim on their own.
Meditative, I guess you could say.
Right, I guess you can look, and especially that fish because it had crazy neon colors. It was like a Japanese fighting fish, and I was you can just stare at it for hours, and the tail was mad long, and it was
I have real quick just on fish. I have a story with my dad. Now my dad's he's not really an animal guy, but he's grown to love cats and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember I had an aquarium fish tank one time. I could have been more than 13 years old or something like that. And I kid you not, I come home from school. I'm playing video games for 2 hours. Home alone. There's nobody in the house. And he calls me up and goes, "Oh, by the way, there's 2 new fish for you in your top drawer." And I open the thing and there's fish in there in a little bag.
Yeah.
In between my socks or whatever shirts.
Wow.
And I'm just yo, what the so I put them up, I got them used to the tank.
Alive?
They survived, but I mean, as a kid I'm
what are you doing?
Yeah, yo, what are you
seconds for you to get home.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
at least they weren't dead fish.
Yeah.
Or surprise. Hey, surprise, couple dead fish here.
Yeah, I thought for sure they were dead.
I'm what are you doing,
for
man?
sure.
Thanks, but
yeah.
But anyway, going back, you were saying with me with snakes. I like corn snakes. Corn snakes are very cool. They're very small, and they do grow to a good size, but nothing insane.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I can't really do huge snakes, but corn snakes are awesome. We were at the Reptile Con.
Yeah, the Repticon.
Repticon. I was holding one. It was pretty tight. I've held a couple corn snakes before in my life when I was younger. And they're fun. I like playing with them. Of course,
they're cool. They feel weird.
And they like you. The one was tangling.
And wrapped around you.
Yeah, I was so it liked me, and it was cool. I like snakes like that, but I can't do the big ones.
Yeah.
But those I don't mind.
See again, perfect example. I rather mess with an alligator than mess with a snake.
I don't know. I guess snake, but I don't know.
But I don't know. Everybody has
they
their
just
own.
Can't be poisonous. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But everybody has their thing. You're probably going to hear a lot more about reptiles as we move on here in the next couple months because there's a plan in action. Don't want to jinx it, but hopefully we'll have some more podcasts on reptiles and animals. But
right. We're trying to go to another Breeders.
Yeah, the Breeders Expo in Daytona in a few weeks. So if you're going to that, hit us up, interact with us. And yeah, I mean,
hit us up on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, what else? That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, pretty much it. Yeah.
Pretty good week. Shark Week.
We love animals,
Yeah.
Love watching them.
Yeah, right.
That's some good shows in Discovery and Nat Geo. Shout out to Nat Geo and Discovery.
Animal Planet, all that.
Animal Planet. Shout out to them. But yeah, Shark Week was really good. And the Nat Geo, we don't have a lot of show. They did not do a lot of like celebrity stuff as like Discovery did, or Discovery did. But they had a lot of informative shows. We saw a lot of guys from like the other shows.
Oh yeah. They're all.
But of course, they're all in the same. Yeah, so it wasn't a competition. They
And people, if you're in these animal communities, like let people in. Like, I know, like with this whole reptile thing I've been doing, it's taken me like months, and almost years of research to find like a decent reptile podcast, to find like a decent reptile website or like informative. Like, thank God for YouTube.
I mean, like the wrestling community, podcast community, they're nice. A lot of them,
Yeah. Like just if somebody wants to join your community, and like just let them in. You know, as long as they're not malicious or whatever.
No, like, absolutely.
Like, if you could see they have a deep passion for something, just let them in and help somebody out if you're a beginner or whatever.
Right. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Give a helping hand,
Yeah, just, I don't know.
Show people the way.
Yeah, be nice.
Be nice.
But all right, so I think that's going to do it for this episode for the All in All podcast. I'd say all in all, today was a pretty good day.
Yeah, it was a pretty good day. Be nice to animals and each other.
So for Mikey Gator,
Jamie Cobra,
we'll see you next time.
Peace out.